Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says with the latest revelation in the VBS Saga will go a long way in ensuring justice for those who lost their monies when the mutual bank was looted. She was speaking on the sidelines of the Cabinet Lekgotla at the Sefako Makgatho Presidential Guesthouse out in Pretoria in an explosive affidavit that outlines how 1.9 billion rand was looted from VBS. The former chairperson, Tshifhiwa Matodzi, implicated several politicians from the ANC as well as the EFF, among others. Ntshavheni says justice for the victims of the bank is getting closer. Political analyst Professor Prof Breakfast joins us now to further unpack this issue. Prof, a very good afternoon to you as always. Great having you with us. So you heard the minister in the presidency there, but are we really at that stage where the contents of the said now leaked affidavit, as we understand, is at the stage not tested to be facts?
Yeah, I think VBS is one of the examples of how the political and economic elite have used their social and political capital in pursuit of personal accumulation. Actually, it's more than just personal accumulation. It's accumulation by a dispossession, because it's accumulation by taking away from the poorest of the poor. We're talking about people who are involved in stock fails. And the worst part of it, in my opinion, is the fact that you have political parties who are to the left of the political spectrum, who are supposed to be defending the working class, who are also accused of this looting. So I don't know when the minister says that action will be taken. In what context is she saying that? Because we need to clear the air that the ANC is no longer the ruling party now. You know, you have a coalition arrangement. So I presume that she was speaking on behalf of government now, not on behalf of the ANC. So it will be quite interesting how the ANC as a political party will respond to this, given the fact that the municipalities who deposited money, wrongfully so, to VBS were municipalities that were led by the ANC. And you have other people who are in the executive of the provincial government who are also implicated on this, and nothing was done in terms of disciplining them. Yes, some of them were let go of their positions, but then they were brought back, which signifies that the ANC doesn't take the fight against corruption seriously.
You know, Prof, what is interesting in your point of course, how those arrests are actually going to be made. What do you make of the fact that there was actually instant rebuttal of these allegations by some of the implicated? We saw there with state capture. I know you just made mention to it, with some of the so-called whistleblowers completely or even partially abandoning their so-called concrete evidence, and we are still dealing with those direct effects where the NPA has had a very difficult time in actually prosecuting those that were implicated purely by word of mouth.
Yeah, the story has been running for a longer period, you know, covering the period of, I think, 2016 until to date. So it's quite sad that only one person has pleaded guilty, which is Tshifhiwa Matodzi. And laid bare the facts and dropped some names of, you know, very well-known politicians. But I think at the moment, maybe I must put a disclaimer and say that, you know, we should not cast aspersions on people's names if they have not been found guilty by the court of law. But that doesn't take away the seriousness of these allegations. They are quite serious. People lost their money, talking about the poorest of the poor, and those people who have broken the law, they need to be brought to book. I mean, this is one of the biggest scandals that we've ever had, I think, since 1994.
You know, Prof, very interesting indeed, because I think we did get a response back. I'm sure you saw from the EFF as well as the ANC out in Limpopo, categorically stating that Rationale will not actually be stepping aside because she hasn't been charged or even found guilty in a court of law. But let's look at the other aspect of this now. The note, the fact that the NPA stating firstly that this was leaked, and then they will be looking for the culprit and also look into whether or not media can actually publish stories that have been leaked to them, which of course currently the South African law does say that they can, if of course that story is of public interest. So what do you make of this aspect in this story, Prof?
I'm not a lawyer, but I think there is a connection between law and politics. I think maybe one needs to strike a balance between transparency and legal proceeding. For instance, I'm just thinking out loud that maybe they don't want the story to be leaked as yet, and by so doing, prepare the people who are accused to have a watertight argument to rebut those allegations. So I'm thinking maybe that is the rationale why they didn't want the affidavit to be shared with everyone in public as yet.
And overall, when it comes to dealing with such matters of corruption, with a new administration, Professor, they currently engaged in policy framework discussions in Pretoria as you and I speak. So going forward, what should the GNU then explore as mechanisms of, one, corruption proof, and two, the necessary tools to eradicate this type of behavior, especially pertaining to SOEs?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why development has not been able to be promoted for everyone on a large scale is because of institutionalization of corruption and without taking any action. So I think action has to be. I mean, I was over the moon when I had some major shake-ups in some departments in terms of some of the wrong doings that were laid bare in public. So that is good. I think that is a step towards the right direction. But I think they need to prioritize, certain developmental goals that they need to address with the money that maybe they will recoup and make sure that the lives of people are improved for the better.
But Professor, I mean, how do you think they're going to even recoup some of these monies? A lot of people, if they're not rebutting their involvement in this saga, those that have been implicated, I'm sure they will have a ready argument as to why they simply cannot afford to be paying back some of the monies that were lost. So how do you think even the state, if it does get some concrete proof of those that actually siphoned funds from the VBS Bank, is actually going to get some of those monies back?
Yeah, I think if there is evidence and those allegations can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, I mean, those people, some of them, they've got properties, they've got assets, some of them are working. So there are different ways and means of making sure that you can recoup the money that was stolen, so long as the evidence can be tested